we have lengthier headlines and leads and blurbs. And we have also some results related to the percent frequencies of story sources. So the Arabic version has more sources than the English version, and also as to the percent frequencies of image sources, the English version is actually having more. And you can go to the paper and read our analyses and the interpretations of these. As to the thematic coverage, the Arabic version actually focused more on military and political violence and foreign relations. But the English version actually had more economic as well as health, education and welfare stories and disaster and human affairs stories. This is the findings as to the thematic coverage. And we are relating this to the two areas which are, the two regions which are prioritized in each version. And here is the regional coverage. So we are relating the thematic findings to the regional findings. And it was interesting to look at both of these and how they can be interpreted. So the regional coverage, the Arabic version actually focuses more on the Arab world, and it's not surprising. And the English version focused more on the third world. And remember, the mission statement of the English channel was to reverse this north to south kind of flow of information. So they are actually adhering to what they were claiming. And this is the first study to present empirical findings about this kind of mission statement. And we have also some interesting results as to the percent frequencies of regional coverage. Most importantly, all the stories. So here we are talking about Al Jazeera, the English as well as the Arabic versions. It did not prioritize the Muslim world. It actually provided more stories about the non-Muslim world. So we're interested in looking into that also. So the findings as to the critical discourse analysis of headlines. I'm just going to present like 2 examples or so. So we looked at nominalizations. In the Arabic version, nominalizations were used, but were kind of elaborated with descriptive qualifiers. So here you see Christian-Muslim clashes. So this is a nominalization, but it has its own qualifier here. Okay, south of Cairo, more information. Result in injuries, more information. But look at the English headline. And these were the stories which were repeated in the 2 versions, because there were stories here but not there and things like that. So these were the stories which were shared, the shared stories. And we did break, the stories into a number of categories. So look at that. Okay, church dispute sparks Egypt clash. So this is a nominalization, we don't have these qualifiers. Okay, again, lexical choice. Look at this example. Taliban free French hostage. Okay, Taliban free French aid worker. This is the English version. We're talking about the same thing here, but look at how reality can be represented in terms of language differently. So, same thing, same event maybe, but different kinds of languages being employed. A hostage is someone who is actually helpless, who cannot, but an aid worker is a positive person who help other people, right? So, we have these kinds of results about, this is also interesting, you may like to read it later on. Okay, so we can also talk about voice and how active and passive voice are deployed here. We can also talk about transitivity, and we have examples. This is significant. Cultural scripts. Look at the example here. The Arabic website is saying something, okay, 4 Syrians sentenced to imprisonment for weakening national pride. Okay, this is the Arabic version. The English version is saying, okay, prominent Syrian critic jailed. Okay, look at the English version. Prominent Syrian critic. A critic is somebody who's actually, playing some role in society, who's actually positive. So the English version is representing this sort of critic as somebody who's actually playing some interesting and good, positive role in society. But the Arabic version is saying 4 Syrians, so they are not important. It's some sort of, I'm not giving you one person, I'm talking about some sort of massification here actually is going on. Sentenced to imprisonment, and they are giving us, the reason behind that, for weakening national pride. And people who read the Arabic version will say, okay, actually, maybe what's going on is okay because they weaken national pride. But the English version, no, this is a critic. We should give him this sort of freedom. You see how these two versions are representing reality differently. So, very quick summary of the results. And you are my friend, right? How do the... Right, we have 1 minute maybe. How do the layouts differ? Arabic site layout more hierarchical and will interpret it in terms of Hofstede's power distance. The report refresh rate. Arabic refresh rate is faster and provides more new content. Okay, how do the news reports in each version compare in terms of basic structural feature? Look at that. Arabic site has more stories and images per report, longer headlines, but English site has longer reports. Sites draw on somewhat different sources for stories and images. Look at that. Okay, what themes are covered? Okay, we looked at the thematic coverage and how these differ from one another. And we also looked at, I did talk about that, we looked at the regions prioritized. And we saw how the Arabic version prioritizes the Arab world and the English version prioritizes the third world, and how both of them actually do not focus, the shared stories do not focus on the Muslim world, but the non-Muslim world has more stories. And what's the ideological perspective? Here's the thing. Al Jazeera was demonized by the US government and some few other Western governments and leaders, and actually also in the Arab world it has been, it has been having difficulties. And actually right now it's having difficulties in Morocco, for example. But is it pro-terrorism, as some people say? Our findings say no. We don't have this sheer, kind of, imbalanced coverage. We're saying, okay, Al Jazeera's coverage is actually not 100% balanced. There is some sort of slight systematic bias in the Arabic version toward the Arab world, and in the English version, surprisingly enough, toward the West. So each version is trying to, provide some sort of coverage which will be appealing to its kind of intended audiences, right? So this is interesting to us because different language versions of the Al Jazeera news site have different coverage and construct somewhat different versions of reality. Look, people who belong to different news organizations can give you different perspectives, but Al Jazeera is one organization providing coverage in 2 languages, and this is actually very interesting because it tells us, okay, wait, probably the same news organization providing coverage in 2 languages can have these 2 different versions. This is new. So this is what's interesting. Thank you very much. He's telling me time is up. We have some implications for diplomacy and cross-cultural stuff and translation, and I appreciate your patience. Thank you. I'm taking him to lunch.
Okay, so thank you for your written presentation. I'm afraid we just have time for only one question.
Okay.
So, yeah.
No, I really enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you.
No, I just want to go take a point from Hofstede.
Yes.
Because in your slide with the 2 headlines, you show a bigger picture.
Right here.
Yes. 3 pictures in the English version, 1 big picture in the Arabic version. You first mentioned Hofstede. Then you talk about in the English version there's more text in one story than in the Arabic version.
Right. You have to click this in order to go to the report.
Yeah. So and you both in these differences you explain with Hofstede and
we're talking.
Which is no, I don't know. I haven't read Hofstede.
Excuse me?
I haven't read Hofstede, so I don't know your argument. I just want to give you an example of my own experience as a journalist in Palestine.
Okay.
In the early 90s, before Al Jazeera, that I was based in the occupied territories, and my colleagues were based in Israel.
Okay.
And so if we had a news item in the Netherlands, I always had to provide more evidence to get my part of the, of the story, of the event, my explanation of the event out than my colleagues in Israel.
Okay.
And so that can also explain why the English side needs more photos, more text, to give more, you know what I mean? It's like,
yes.
you have to
Let me respond to that, and I'm not sure whether I understand your question fully or not, but We were referring to Hofstede in terms of the design of the website. So this website is designed in a way which gives so much importance to the story in position number 1. So